Greetings, listeners. So, it's been quite a year. I'm recording this on April 5th, 2020, about a month since the last in-person meeting of the Esoteric Order of Roleplayers for what looks to be some time to come. The bulk of March was taken up with adjusting to our new reality and figuring out where to go from here. The good news, we're all healthy, and we're all taking care of ourselves. Some of us are working from home. Some are essential workers out on the front lines, keeping the wheels turning. If you're on our Discord server or are a Patreon backer, you'll already know that we briefly toyed with the idea of switching to an online gaming format and carrying on with the Pendragon campaign that way. And you'll also know that this plan failed to come to fruition, sadly. So the old EOR group is on hiatus. If you're not on our server or would like to become a Patreon backer, check out this episode's show notes for links to both. Now, the plan as it currently stands is to continue bringing you content, but through other means. First up, it just so happens that right as everything started to go into quarantines and lockdowns here in the States, I had just started running an online campaign for Des and my old friend and sometime creative collaborator, Alex, who lives 1,000 miles from us, and I had prudently recorded the first 2 sessions. I'll talk more about this campaign, and we'll introduce the characters in the piece following this rambling update, but the plan is to put these sessions out as our main campaign for the time being. Please bear with us as we navigate the challenges of recording through an online format. The third session should see a marked improvement in quality, but we'll be dropping the first session a week from today. I'm also looking forward to bringing you a new Nightlife Duet Chronicle, this time with Des returning to the storyteller seat. The working title of the chronicle is Killer Diller, and it will be a Vampire the Masquerade game focusing on the years surrounding the Anarch Revolt in California and the fall of the Camarilla in Los Angeles, from the 1920s through to the 1950s. We're both super excited about this one and hope to get a start on it in the coming weeks. Finally, I'm cooking up a few other ideas for the months ahead in terms of what to run and how to set that up and what players will be involved. A lot of exciting ideas brewing, so stay tuned for more details. And in the meantime, everyone at the Esoteric Order sends our love and best wishes to all our listeners around the globe. Stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask when you're out in public, practice physical distancing while staying socially connected. We're all in this together. And now, on with the introduction to the new campaign. The Esoteric Order of Roleplayers present By the Sword, a Palladium role-playing game campaign with David Larkins as the Game Master.
But I'll try to mute myself if I'm not, if it's like
something weird's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, or you gotta rip one out.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, I'm farting. The non-stop farting, yeah. Great.
Okay. All right, cool. So, that all being said, we are gathered here. We are gathered here to play the Palladium role-playing game.
Woo!
Oh man.
Which, of course,
that's 2 totally different
awesome.
reactions.
Woo! Oh my god.
Which, of course, is also known as the Palladium Fantasy RPG, depending on what era you want to, focus on.
What does that have to do with anything? Like,
I'm just being pedantic. And it is not called the Palladium Fanty Tale RPG, though. That is
oh man,
forthcoming.
We just watched Burning Love again.
Rewatched
all
Burning
3
Love.
of them.
Mm-hmm.
We rewatched it. Yeah, it was so amazing.
It's a great show.
So
all right. So this is very off-brand for the esoteric order, but these are strange times that we are living in right now. So I just thought we could talk a little bit about our motivations for why we're doing this, why there's a strange man in this virtual room.
Oh my god!
With us, just kind of
not that strange,
leering over us as we attempt to.
Oh god!
As we attempt to focus. But yeah, so basically we're playing Palladium because I'm here with Des, my usual duet partner, but we're now a trio because we've also got Alex, my co-author on Action International, and old chum from back in the day. There he is.
School chum.
And old school chum. Old school chum and old school chum as well.
God, why did you
but yes, so we played a lot of Palladium games back in the 90s. As one did. Chiefly Rifts, but also supplemented with Ninjas and Super Spies. Some Heroes Unlimited. Some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness.
Limited Heroes Unlimited.
Heroes Unlimited Limited. And then I think one session of Palladium Fantasy or Palladium RPG. Yeah. Actually, I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. Yeah. But we had AD&D as well, so there wasn't much point to jumping ship for a fantasy game. But anyway, I don't know. You and I just got talking, right? I listened to Mega Dumbcast. You listen to Mega Dumbcast sometimes.
What is Mega Dumbcast?
Shout out to Mega Dumbcast. It's a page-by-page review of the dumbest thing on every page of a given Palladium RPG. Sometimes dumb in a loving way, more oftentimes dumb in a what the hell were they thinking kind of way. I definitely have a love-hate relationship with Palladium. I think, Alex, you have a love-hate relationship with Palladium.
Yes.
I have enjoyed many a Palladium game, but it's been kind of in spite of the game a lot of times. So, but we're here to enjoy this game on its own merits. We're not here to bash it.
Nope.
We're here to, this isn't like a comedy podcast where we're just here to talk about how dumb the game is.
Yeah. That's boring.
But, yeah, it is boring. But anyway, listening to Mega Dumbcast got us thinking about Palladium games again. Yeah. And somehow here we are. So.
Well, I think my affection for Palladium games is pretty sincere. Like, I don't, there's nothing ironic about it. I just
no, it's definitely not ironic. Yeah,
but it is frustrating. It's like something it's like, why you're so close,
But, if you just had a decent editor,
So I think it's just something that, you say, hey, you want to play Palladium game XYZ, and oh yeah, hell yeah, I'm down.
Oh yeah, I mean, I played Heroes Unlimited at Gen Con a few years ago, and I had a blast. It was great. So shout out to Matt Reed, and so had a lot of fun with that.
Kind enough to run that for you.
He was, and we had a great time. So it's definitely totally possible to have a good time with Palladium games, and in fact, there's a lot to love in these kooky and quirky little games. One of the things I've always particularly loved about Palladium games is they create very interesting characters. So why don't we talk about your characters briefly?
Oh. I have zero experience with Palladium games. Thank you for asking. And
yeah. I just skipped right over you because Well, I wouldn't say you've had zero experience, actually. You did participate in a crossover Ninjas and Super Spies Heroes Unlimited game that I ran about, 16 years ago. We've been together for 16 years. 14 years ago, maybe? It was when we were in San Francisco. We played it with Tim and Alex on OpenRPG. Alex played that mutant gorilla.
I wish I could remember, but I just don't.
Okay, you all died in a death trap. So.
Oh, now I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, that pissed me off. I did not.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. You had a bit of experience with that. I was going to run Heroes Unlimited for you maybe 7 or 8 years ago, but that never really got off the ground. So that's kind of your extent of your Palladium experience, I guess.
Oh, thank you for telling me what it was.
Yeah, as far as my memory goes. I don't know if you...
Yeah, no, I have zero memory, so the fact that you knew,
okay.
I was like, oh, thank God somebody remembers.
Oh, you're being sincere then.
I was, I know, it didn't sound...
Thank you so much for telling me.
I'm a little tired, we'll just put it that way.
It's all good.
A little tired.
But yes, you do have a character who's not a little tired. In fact, this character is fresh. Ooh. Fresh as hell.
I don't know about that segue, Dave.
That was bad.
You weren't giving me much to work with there.
Okay, well, I'm talking about my character. Were we going to talk about like why we decided to... You guys already talked about why you're deciding to do this, right?
I mean, yeah, that was our personal motivation. Why are you here?
The only reason I came here is because I wanted to play with Alex, because we never get to play games together. And so I thought, what better way to experience this weird game than by getting to play with Alex?
This is true.
Yeah, that's probably my main motivation, and to support your vision for playing this fantasy game.
Palladium's a bit like an ayahuasca trip, you know. You want to do it with people you trust implicitly, and it will take you on a journey. So
okay, cool. Well, that sounds good.
And you might end up puking into a bucket. So
just give us a bucket and a roll of toilet paper, and we'll be fine. But
so we're going to talk a little bit about your characters here,
yes.
and any other thoughts or whatever you want to throw out there.
All right.
Yeah. So, Alex, since you're actually, wait a minute.
Oh.
I always do this. It's a little bit. I'll start with myself, actually, in terms of where I'm coming from with the game, right? With the campaign, like what my inspirations were and points of reference. So basically, over the holidays, Des and I watched a lot of 80s fantasy movies. We were pleased that Willow held up. We enjoyed Legend.
Yeah.
We enjoyed Dragon Slayer.
Yes.
Peter McNichol. That was good. We did not enjoy the Black Cauldron.
That was horrible.
And
had some strange, scary, forward-seeing shit that we were not aware of.
It was weirdly foreshadowing in a lot of ways. We wouldn't have Gollum in our current incarnation without it. So
yeah, it's pretty wild,
right?
Yeah.
Yep. So that all being said, it did get me kind of into that modality, and then I was like, I want to run something that I made a list of a master tropes list of 80s fantasy films because they all seem to have very similar tropes going on. And so that's kind of my goal as a GM, is to hit a lot of those tropes. But in the course of sort of making characters and then getting into playing, because we're recording this after we've played our first session, we also kind of hit upon classic 80s and early 90s computer RPGs like Phantasy Star, for example, and dare I say Miracle Warriors even. But so we're going to hit some of those tropes as well, which includes kind of a sandboxy structure, although they're, like any classic CRPG of that era, we're going to have some quests leavened in with the general sandboxing as well. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. I've designed a very cool Obsidian portal, if I must say so myself.
Yeah, it is really cool, actually. Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. I know I was fishing for that compliment, but I'll take it anyway.
You were not.
And there'll be a link to that in the show notes, as they say. But that's kind of where I'm coming from. How about you guys? What kind of characters did you make?
Oh my god.
Oh
no. We have characters?
How does a role-playing game work again?
Oh god.
Tell us, Kevin.
Oh god.
Alex, I'll defer to you if you wanna.
All right. Yeah. I'll kick things off. So, I am playing Laszlo Klopek, a mind mage, so kind of a fantasy version of the psionicist. Well, I guess, or just a psionicist in general.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, about my character. He is a 16-year-old from the kingdom of... Loading, please wait.
Yeah.
The kingdom...
Spinning disc.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, where is he? The kingdom of... Is it Beregia? Am I have that right? Rodan?
Mm-hmm.
No, wait, sorry, wrong. He is from the kingdom of Kohugan. There we go.
Oh, right. Yes.
In the old kingdom frontier. So, this campaign is set in the Western Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And the kind of border area between the Western Empire and the Old Kingdoms is the Old Kingdom frontier. That's where my character's from a town called East Orluk. His past is a bit mysterious. He is fleeing something.
Oh.
It is it's alluded to, he's kind of, at least those close to him know that it's something to do with his family and expectations. As a mind mage, he is, kind of gifted with these psionic abilities from birth. It's made him quite useful to his family in their, various negotiations with their neighbors in the kingdom of Grishop and Barbadic. However, Laszlo did not enjoy the, kind of underhanded way in which, he was being exploited by his family, and left to seek out adventure on his own, perhaps, finding like-minded individuals who felt the same way he did about, the world and his place in it. His trip, unfortunately, took him to Arena Town, which is in the Tarldit Plains to the northwest. Arena Town, kind of based, as you can guess, based on its name, a town that favors gladiator fights and probably, all the various gambling and other vices that surround such activities. And it didn't take him long, I believe on his first day there, we'll see what happens, but it didn't take him long to find himself in trouble.
Right.
But as far as his personality goes, he is easygoing, laid back, and actually is quite trusting of others, a kind of peculiar trait for someone who has psionic abilities. He's kind of aware of other people's, ulterior motives quite a bit, but still has clung to his ability to trust them. And furthermore, is there anything else here? Physically, he resembles our good friend. Gosh, why can't I remember his name? I can never remember his name. Ted Raimi's character from
Ted.
from
Joxer? Is it Joxer?
Yeah.
Yes, Joxer. So Ted Raimi. Imagine a young Ted Raimi. But more specifically,
that's a reference everyone.
That's all.
Just
all you need to know.
look him up.
Young Ted Raimi, of course.
Of course, Ted Raimi. Yes.
And specifically in Hercules, Joxer, at least the photographs I've seen, has this really obnoxious. I don't know if you call it a helmet or what you would call it, but it's kind of this little, leather helmet with these ear flaps, pinned up. That's basically his look, kind of an obnoxious look, which actually goes along with his mental affinity of 9. He's not a very charismatic individual.
Nice.
I think that pretty much covers everything. He's human. Yep. Yeah, I think that does it for him. He has clothes, so there's that.
Good.
Okay, cool. Good.
Good that he has clothes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
There he is.
He has clothes.
Those are clothes. Close.
And Des, how about you?
Let's see here. So my character is the Maneater.
Mm-hmm.
And she is a selfish anarchist wolfen. And she's a gladiatrix. Speaking of gladiator fights.
Yes.
In the
strangest thing.
So we are in the Western. What is this called?
Western Empire.
Western Empire.
Mm-hmm.
And we are in Arena Town. So, so the Maneater, she may have another name, but she was kidnapped from her pack and her people, and was then foisted to be a slave in Arena Town. And eventually, because she was so, like just the way she was, with just being kind of rowdy and just a troublemaker, and her physical strength, she decided that it would be smarter for her to get into the gladiator arena and try to just fight, because she just friggin' hates humans.
I dare say she was even placed in the arena, perhaps.
Maybe
by speculators who are like, get that wolfen in there, kind of thing.
Well, I like the idea of her choosing to, because once she could see that she could crack some skulls of humans, she's like,
oh well, certainly. I mean, yeah, exactly. You probably arrange things so that people would be like, oh my god, look at that natural born gladiator.
Yeah. So she's 8 foot tall, has dark fur, and hazel eyes. Her personality is like a bit of a braggart, cheerful and annoying. But at the same time, she just friggin' hates humans. And she has a short sword and a large shield. She's good at disguising. And let's see here, tracking. She speaks Western. She plays a wind instrument too. So she has a flute that she carries with her. This is something that she's always had. It's a small little, maybe it's not a flute, but more like a piccolo or something tiny that she can easily hide, because it's like the one remnant that she has of her family. She has a good sense of direction. She can imitate voices too. And she has demon and devil lore, which I guess she can recognize or see demons or sense them or something.
Just more that you know about them. So, like, demons, what are demons allergic to? What are some of their favorite television shows, etc.?
Oh, what do they like to drink?
I have demon lore too. That's something we can bond over.
Oh, that's cool. And so my special ability...
like a couple of teenagers talking about serial killer facts,
Hey, I heard this one devil. You know what he did?
Yeah.
And so I have good claw and bite attack. And yeah, so we that's the Maneater.
Nice. All right. Well, I think with that we will wrap this up. Unless you guys had any other, just this little
section. Okay.
Unless you had any other general commentary, of any kind.
No, I look forward to playing our first session.
Oh yeah,
it will be fun.
No, actually, I might post this separately. So be on the lookout for that first session at some point.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.